Imagine your dog's collar quietly watching over them and sending you a notification on your phone before they bolt out the gate or before a hidden health problem turns serious. Sounds like sci-fi, right? Well, that's basically what AI smart dog collars and pet wearables are doing right now. Today we're talking about AI smart dog collars and pet wearables, from GPS tracking to real time health and behavior alerts. If you've ever wished your dog could just text you how they're feeling, this is the closest thing we've got. So grab a treat, maybe for you and for your dog, and let's dive in. First, let's set the stage. Most dog parents know about microchips, maybe a basic GPS tracker, and those cute little Fitbits for dogs that count steps. But the new generation of pet wearables is going way beyond that. We're talking about devices that can track your dog's exact location on a map in real time, measure their activity, sleep, and rest quality, monitor things like heart rate, breathing rate, and sometimes even body temperature, detect behavior patterns like barking, scratching, licking, or pacing, and then use AI to spot changes and send you health or behavior alerts in real time. In other words, it's not just data for the sake of data, it's data that tries to mean something. Hey, your dog's breathing faster than usual at night. Hey, they're way less active than they were last week. Hey, they just left your virtual fence. In this video, we're going to break down 1. What these AI smart collars actually are. 2. How GPS tracking and virtual fences keep your dog safe. 3. How health and behavior monitoring works in real life. 4. What the sensors really measure and what they don't. 5. How to use this tech for training, anxiety, and vet care. 6. And some honest pros and cons before you spend your money. Let's start with the basics. What is an AI smart dog collar really? At its core, it's usually two things working together. On your dog's neck, you have the hardware. A collar or a little device that clips onto a collar or harness. Inside that, you'll find a GPS chip to track location, motion sensors to see how your dog is moving, sometimes a tiny microphone to detect barking, and in more advanced ones, sensors to estimate heart rate, breathing, or temperature. Then on your phone, you have the software and AI, an app that collects all that information, compares it over time, and learns what normal looks like for your dog. When something looks off, like they're pacing all night, or their heart rate is higher than usual, it sends you an alert. So when companies say AI-powered collar, they don't mean there's a mini robot trainer in there. They mean the system is using algorithms and pattern recognition to spot changes instead of just giving you raw numbers. Now, let's talk about the feature that most people care about first: GPS tracking and safety. If you've ever had that, "Oh no, where's the dog?" moment, you know how scary it is. Modern GPS dog trackers can show your dog's location on a map in real time, let you create safe zones, like your home or yard, send you an alert if your dog leaves that zone, and show you a history of where they've been, like walking routes and favorite sniff spots. So imagine this. You're at work, and you get a notification that your dog just left your designated safe zone. You open the app, and you can literally see them moving down the street. You can call a neighbor, a family member, or head home yourself with way more information than just, "They're gone." For dogs who love to bolt through open gates, dig under fences, or slip out of harnesses, this can be a lifesaver. It doesn't replace a microchip, but it fills the gap between missing and found at a shelter. Next, let's move into something even more futuristic: health and vital sign monitoring. Some advanced smart collars and wearables can estimate things like resting heart rate, breathing rate, especially while your dog is sleeping, activity levels throughout the day, how much and how well they sleep, and sometimes even body temperature. Why does that matter? Because health problems often show up as subtle changes long before we notice anything obvious. Maybe your senior dog's resting heart rate slowly creeps up over a week. Maybe your usually chill dog starts breathing faster at night. Maybe activity drops way down, even though you haven't changed your routine. You might not catch those patterns with your eyes, but the device can, and it can flag it for you. Here's a simple example. Let's say your dog Max usually sleeps soundly through the night, and the app shows nice long stretches of deep rest. Suddenly, over a few nights, his sleep becomes fragmented, and his breathing rate is higher than his usual baseline. You get an alert saying something like, "Max's rest and breathing are different from normal." That's your cue to pay extra attention. Maybe check him over for pain, watch his appetite, and if needed, call your vet sooner rather than later. It's not a diagnosis, but it's an early warning system. Now, let's talk about behavior alerts where health and training start to overlap. Some AI collars don't just track movement, they try to figure out what kind of movement it is. Is your dog walking, running, or just shifting around in their sleep? Are they scratching more than usual? Are they licking themselves a lot? How often are they barking when you're gone? For a dog parent, this is incredibly useful because you can't be watching 24/7. If your dog has separation anxiety, for example, you go to work and you think they're okay. But when you later check the data, you see long periods of intense movement and barking right after you leave. The device might even mark these as high restlessness or high barking. Over time, as you work on training shorter absences, enrichment toys, calming routines, you can see whether the data is trending in the right direction. Are they barking less? Settling faster? Sleeping more deeply at night? For itchy dogs, sudden spikes in scratching or licking could hint at allergies, skin issues, or stress. Sometimes the collar notices the pattern before you realize just how often they're doing it. So instead of guessing, you're tracking. By now you might be wondering, how the heck does a collar actually measure all of this? Let's break it down without getting too geeky. Motion sensors. These tiny sensors feel movement in 3 dimensions. With enough data, they can learn what different patterns look like: walking versus running versus scratching versus French. Shaking. It's like teaching the collar, okay, this kind of movement usually means scratching the ear. GPS and networks. The GPS chip gets location from satellites, and then the collar uses cellular or Wi-Fi to send that info to your phone. That's how you see your dog moving on a map. Heart and breathing sensors. These usually work a bit like human fitness trackers. They detect tiny vibrations or changes from blood flow and chest movement around your dog's neck or harness. The AI smooths that data out over time to estimate heart rate and breathing rate, especially when your dog is resting. Is it perfect? Nope. Fur, collar fit, and movement can all affect accuracy. But over days and weeks, the trends become really useful. One important thing to remember, these devices are tools, not veterinarians. They can say, something looks different, but they can't say, your dog has this exact disease. That's where your vet still comes in. So, how do you actually use all of this in real life without getting overwhelmed by numbers and charts? Think of it in 4 steps. Step 1, choose your main goal. Ask yourself, what's my biggest worry right now? I'm terrified of my dog getting lost. Focus on strong GPS and escape alerts. My dog has health issues and I want to catch changes early. Look for health-focused wearables that track vitals and have nice, clear dashboards. My dog is anxious or reactive, and I want to see if training is working. Go for a device that tracks behavior and activity, especially barking, pacing, and sleep. Step 2, collect a baseline. For the first week or 2, don't change anything. Just use your dog's normal routine and let the collar collect data. That becomes your dog's normal. Then, when the app says heart rate is 25% higher than usual, it's based on your actual dog, not some generic average. Step 3, loop in your vet or trainer. Many apps let you export reports or share data. If your dog has chronic issues, anxiety, or is on a weight loss or rehab plan, this can be incredibly helpful. Instead of trying to remember everything at the appointment, you have real numbers and graphs to show. Step 4, build it into your routines, not your obsessions. You don't need to stare at the app all day. Maybe you check it once in the morning and once at night. Maybe you glance at weekly summaries to see bigger trends. Use alerts as nudges. Hey, maybe today we take a long walk. Or, hey, maybe this weird pattern means we should talk to the vet. The goal is not to be a helicopter dog parent. The goal is to be a better informed dog parent. Of course, we also have to talk about the downsides. These devices are powerful, but they're not magic. Most of them require a subscription to access GPS tracking or cloud-based health analysis. Battery life can vary. If you want super frequent location updates, you'll charge more often. In rural areas or places with poor signal, live tracking might be slower or less precise. And yes, like any AI system, there can be false alarms or missed events. There's also a privacy angle. Your dog's location, your walking routes, and some health data are being stored somewhere. It's worth taking a moment to check a brand's privacy policy, just like you would for a fitness tracker on yourself. So, where does all this leave us? We're entering a world where your dog's collar doesn't just hold their ID tag, it holds a snapshot of their life. How they sleep, how they move, how their heart and breathing change over time, where they roam, how they cope when you're not home. Used well, AI smart dog collars and pet wearables aren't about turning your dog into a gadget. They're about giving you more information, more peace of mind, and more chances to catch problems early so you can enjoy more healthy, happy years together. If you found this helpful, do me a favor, hit that like button so more dog parents can find this video. Subscribe to the channel if you want more deep dives into dog tech, training, and health. And in the comments, tell me, are you thinking about getting a smart collar? Is your top priority safety, health, or behavior and anxiety? And of course, what's your dog's name? I'll be reading through the comments, so introduce your pup and let's keep learning how to use tech to give our dogs the best life we possibly can.